Rain hit the ground like tiny knives. The human man, Jack, stood inside his old wooden cabin, alone and quiet. It was nearly midnight. Outside, the storm had taken over, the forest wind howling, trees shaking, thunder rumbling like an angry beast. Then came the knock. Not a soft knock. Not normal. It was hard, slow, like someone about to collapse. Jack's heart skipped. No one ever came this deep into the forest. Not at this hour. Not during a storm like this. He grabbed the axe hanging by his door. Another knock, louder. Weaker. A hand slammed against the door. And then silence. Jack opened it. There she was, an alien woman. Tall. Beautiful. Bleeding. Her silver skin was scratched. Her dark armor was cracked open in places. One side of her face was bruised, and her lower lip had a cut. Her eyes, deep violet, looked into his like they were searching for something. Or maybe saying goodbye. She didn't fall. She just dropped. To her knees, trembling. Blood spread beneath her. Not red, but purple. It smelled strange, almost sweet. Then she spoke. Don't kill me, human. Just take me to your bed instead. Jack froze. What did she just say? He looked around. No ships, no footprints. Just her, alone, wounded, desperate. He knelt beside her. Who are you? She didn't answer. Her lips trembled. She tried to stand. Failed. Her body was shaking, cold, wet. Hurt. Jack couldn't leave her there. He picked her up. She was lighter than he expected, but burning hot. Fever. She needed help. He carried her inside. Her eyes stayed locked on him the whole time, as if memorizing his face. Jack laid her gently on his bed. Her armor clanked softly against the mattress. She winced in pain. He turned on a lamp. The soft yellow light revealed the full damage. There was a deep cut on her side. A broken metal shard stuck near her ribs. Her legs had burns. Like from a plasma blast. She wasn't just running. She'd been hunted. Jack grabbed a clean towel and some water. You need medical help, he said. But I'm not a doctor. Still, she said nothing. She just watched him. Eyes tired, but alert. Like a soldier. Jack tried to stop the bleeding. She hissed when the towel touched her side. I'm sorry. He said, I'm trying to help. Her voice came out again, softer this time. You are not like the others. What others? But she closed her eyes. Jack checked her pulse, fast but steady. Her body was going into shock. He had no med kit. No high-tech tools. Just forest supplies and first aid basics. But still, he worked. He cleaned the wound. Pulled out the shard. Wrapped her side with cloth. After an hour, she was finally breathing calmly. He sat beside the bed, tired. Confused. Who was she? Why was she bleeding? What did she mean by, don't kill me, take me to your bed? Was it a joke? A trap? Or something else? The night was long. He didn't sleep. Every time he looked at her, he felt something strange. She was beautiful. Not in a normal way, but something different. Her body was scarred but powerful. Her lips were full. Her hair silver and black spread over the pillow like flowing water. But what caught him the silver and bled him the most was her expression, even in sleep. She looked scared, like someone who had seen too much, like someone with no home to return to. At 3 a.m., she suddenly jerked awake. Her hands reached for a weapon instinct. Jack raised his hands. It's okay, you're safe. She looked around, then at him. Her body relaxed a little, but her voice was cold. Why did you help me? Jack blinked. Because you were dying. Her eyes narrowed. And you expect what, my body? He was stunned. What? No. You think I brought you here for that? She stared. He stood. You said those words. I didn't force you. She looked away. I thought. She whispered. That's what humans wanted. Jack stayed quiet, then said, not this one. Silence. Finally she asked, where am My cabin, deep woods, planet side, no one comes here. She nodded slowly. Good. I need to disappear. Jack crossed his arms. Who are you running from? She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at the door. Then at the window, like danger was still out there. Can you walk? He asked. She tried to move. Pain shot through her legs. She hissed and fell back. No, she said. Not tonight. Jack sighed. Then rest. We'll talk in the morning. He turned to leave, but her voice stopped him. Human. Thank you. He nodded. But as he walked away, he noticed something on the floor, a trail of purple blood, leading from the front door, and outside more footprints. Not hers, not his, and not human. Asterisk, the smell of smoke, that's what pulled her awake. Not fire, but the scent of something warm. Cooked. Human. She opened her eyes slowly. The ceiling above her was wooden, cracked, with a fan spinning lazily. She felt soft fabric under her. Too soft. A bed. Her body jerked, reacting on instinct. Where was her armor, her weapon? Pain shot through her side. Her bandages were tight. Someone had wrapped her. Someone with care. Then she remembered the human, his eyes, his voice, his scent. Everything had felt so strange, so gentle. She looked down, still wearing most of her armor, though the chest plate was missing. Her skin showed through where the bandages were. Her weapon? Still gone. And outside the bedroom, footsteps. She TNCD, that she was trained not to trust. Her people taught her one thing: never lower your guard in a human's home. But when the door creaked open, it was just him. He held a wooden tray with a steaming bowl of soup. No armor, no weapon, just messy hair and tired eyes. You're awake, he said softly. She didn't respond. He walked in slowly and placed the tray beside the bed. I tried not to touch too much, just cleaned your wounds. Still, she said nothing. I didn't do anything else, he added quickly, voice low. You were burning up. I had to help. Her violet eyes watched him closely. You slept beside me? Jack shook his head. I didn't sleep. He paused. You talk in your sleep, you know. She stiffened. What did I say? He hesitated. Mostly things I didn't understand. Another language. Except for one thing. She looked at him sharply. You whispered, don't make me kill again. Her face went pale. She turned her face away. I don't remember, she lied. Jack didn't push. He handed her the bowl. She stared at it. What is it? Vegetables. Nothing dangerous, I promise. She took it slowly. Her hands shook a little. The warmth felt strange against her fingers. He sat on a chair near the bed watching her. She tasted the soup. It was bland, but warm, comforting. It made her feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Safe. Why do you live out here? She asked. Jack smiled slightly. Because I got tired of people. Out here, no one lies. She raised an eyebrow. You lie, he shrugged. Sometimes. But I didn't lie about helping you. Silence again. Then she asked, what do humans think of alien women? Jack blinked. Depends on the woman. She leaned back. My people said humans desire anything with a pretty face, that they take, use, then leave. Jack frowned. Maybe some. But not me. She studied his face like she was searching for cracks. Where I come from, she said, a bet is only for two things, healing or surrender. Jack raised an eyebrow. Which one do you think you're doing? She looked away. I don't know yet. Another silence passed. Then she whispered, why didn't you touch me last night? Jack leaned forward. Because you were bleeding. Because you were scared. And because I don't hurt women. She stared at him like he'd spoken a foreign language. No one's ever said that to me before, she said softly. Just then, the lights flickered. Jack stood quickly. The solar batteries are low. Storm's been draining power. He walked toward the window to check the outside. Then he froze. Footprints. Fresh. Big. Not his. Not hers. Three-toed. Deep in the mud. She saw his face go pale. She sat up, wincing. "What is it?" she asked. Jack stepped back. "Someone else was here last night. Maybe still is." Her hands clenched. She looked at the floor near the door. Her combat knife gone. "They tracked me," she whispered. "They always do." Jack turned to her. "Who are you running from?" She looked him dead in the eye. "My own kind." It started with the birds. At sunrise, they all vanished. No chirping, no fluttering wings, no sound. Just silence. Jack noticed it first. He stood at the window, holding his morning tea. The forest outside was usually alive by this hour. But today, it was dead quiet. Inside the cabin, the alien woman was still resting, though her eyes were half open, alert beneath the blanket. Her armor was beside her, cleaned and repaired with what little tools Jack had. Her knife, now returned, lay under her pillow. She didn't trust him fully, but she didn't hate him either. That was progress. Jack stepped out onto the porch. The air was thick. Still. Then he saw it. A thin line of smoke. No fire, no scent, just a faint trail rising behind the trees. Like the breath of a silent machine. He knew what it meant. "They found us," he whispered. Inside, the alien woman sat up sharply. "How many?" "I don't know yet," Jack said. "But they're close, too close." She stood barefoot, limping, but alert. She picked up her armor and began strapping it on. "If they're tracking me, they won't stop." "Not unless—" She didn't finish the sentence. Jack grabbed his old hunting rifle from the wall. It wasn't much. Definitely not enough against soldiers, but it made him feel less helpless. Minutes later. Boots, crunching gravel, slow, heavy. They were here. Jack stepped outside just as the first figure emerged from the trees. Not human military, but Interstellar Recovery Division. Black armored suits, red visors. No emotions, aliens, yes, but trained by humans. Behind them, a hover transport waited, half visible through the trees. One of the soldiers raised his voice, metallic and cold. "You are harboring a fugitive." Jack stayed calm. "I found a wounded person on my porch. I gave her help. That's not illegal." The lead soldier stepped closer. "Her crimes are, she killed 3 officers, stole high-value tech, deserted her army. She is dangerous." Jack didn't blink. "She's injured." "That's not your concern." Behind the soldier, 2 others began scanning the house. Jack raised his voice. "You need a warrant to enter." "We have intergalactic override authority," the soldier replied. "Step aside." Just then, a voice came from behind Jack. Her voice. "No need to search. I'm right here." The alien woman stood in the doorway, calm, proud, fearless. Her armor wasn't fully sealed. Her legs were still weak. But her presence was powerful. The soldiers raised their weapons instantly. "Easy," Jack shouted. "She's not attacking." She raised her hands. "I came here to rest, not to fight." The lead soldier looked her over. "You're lucky we didn't shoot you on sight." "I'm not running anymore," she said coldly. "But I won't go with you either. You don't have a choice." Then she did something Jack didn't expect. She walked forward, slowly, and stopped beside him, and she grabbed his hand. The soldiers hesitated. "What is this?" One asked. "You've bonded with him?" She said nothing. Jack's heart was pounding. What was she doing? "We are under protection law," she said clearly. "Article 9. If a native grants asylum, I cannot be taken without trial." That law was revoked, one soldier said. "Not on this planet." She snapped. There was a pause. The lead soldier looked at Jack. "You're willing to take responsibility for her?" Jack swallowed, then nodded. "I am." The soldier lowered his weapon slightly. "Then she is yours." But if she steps out of line, even once we erase both of you." He turned sharply. The others followed. Within moments, the forest swallowed them again. Silence returned. Jack let out a deep breath. His hand was still shaking. Hers was not. He looked at her. "What the hell was that?" She looked tired. "A gamble. You just made me your protector. Do you know what that means?" She met his eyes. "Yes, now your life is in danger too." Jack shook his head. "You could have run." She looked down. "I'm tired of running." Asterisk, she didn't cry when the knife went through her leg. She didn't cry when her squad was burned alive. She didn't even cry when she was forced to kill her own captain. To escape. But tonight, she cried, not because of pain, because of peace. The fire in Jack's cabin crackled gently. The lights were dim. Outside, the forest was quiet again. The soldiers were gone for now. She sat on the floor near the fire, wrapped in a blanket, knees pulled to her chest. Her armor lay discarded beside her like dead skin. Her silver hair hung loose, damp from the shower. He insisted she take. Jack didn't say much. He sat across from her, stirring something in a pot. Simple soup again. But the silence between them wasn't cold. It was waiting, like the calm after a storm. Or the moment before a confession. "I've never had soup twice in my life," she said quietly. Jack looked over. "You don't like it?" "No, I like it too much. It's soft, gentle, makes my hands shake." He smiled faintly. "Soup does that?" "No, kindness does." She looked away, ashamed for saying it out loud. Jack didn't laugh, didn't joke, just handed her the bowl. She held it carefully, as if it might break or disappear. "You don't talk much," Jack said softly. "I was trained not to." "You were trained for war?" She nodded. "Since childhood." He waited. Finally she added, "I was born in a bunker, raised by commanders. My first memory is blood. My second is pain." She stared into the soup like it was a mirror. Jack said nothing, just listened. "I was 12 when I first killed a rebel boy. He was crying. I was faster." Jack's throat tightened, but he stayed quiet. "By 16, I led raids, burned cities, took prisoners. They called me Ashari the Cold." She gave a bitter smile. "But I was never cold. I was screaming inside." Her hands trembled. Jack leaned forward. "Why did you run?" She laughed once, short, dry. "Because I refused to finish the last order. We found a village. They told me to burn it. Everyone, even the children." Jack's heart sank. "I dropped my rifle. I said no." She looked at him, voice cracking. "They turned on me, my own unit." There it was, the truth behind her eyes. She had been feared, hunted, hurt, but what broke her wasn't what she did. It was what she didn't do. She didn't kill when they expected her to, and that made her a traitor. Tears slid down her cheek. She touched it with surprise. "What is this?" she whispered. Jack moved closer. "That's a tear. I've bled 1,000 times, but this feels worse." He hesitated, then reached out and gently brushed it away with his thumb. She didn't flinch. "Crying doesn't make you weak," Jack said. She looked down. "Then why does it feel like I'm breaking?" "Because breaking is the first step to healing." She stared at him. And then she cried, quietly, shaking, like someone who'd been holding it in for years. She pressed her face into his shoulder. Didn't speak, didn't hide. Jack just held her. No words, no expectations, only silence and warmth. Minutes passed. Then she whispered into his chest, voice barely there, "Thank you for not asking me to be strong." He tightened his arms around her. "You don't have to be anything tonight." It started with the smell of burning skin, not from fire, from her. Jack woke to the scent, metallic, sharp, unnatural. He turned over and saw her on the floor, curled tight, hands gripping her side. Her body was trembling. Sweat poured from her forehead, Her skin shimmered. Not in a beautiful way, but like it was melting. "Hey." Jack dropped beside her, panic in his voice. "What's happening?" She couldn't speak. Her mouth opened, but no sound came. Then, her back arched. A long, gasping breath escaped her lips, followed by a choked cry. Her skin flashed silver to blue to pale gray, then back again. It wasn't natural, it wasn't normal, it was breaking down. He touched her, forehead burning hot. Her body convulsed. "Tell me what to do," he shouted. "I don't know what's wrong with you." She forced her eyes open. They were cloudy, unfocused. "Poison," she whispered. "Inside. From the wound." Jack remembered the plasma burn on her leg. The black fluid he wiped off. It hadn't looked right. Not like blood. More like oil. She grabbed his shirt, barely holding on. "It's not human poison," she breathed. "It's nanite-based. Meant to erase me." He stared at her, horrified. "Erase?" She nodded. "It eats me from the inside, piece by piece. Then we need medicine, anything." She shook her head slowly. "There's no medicine." Jack stood, pacing, thinking hard. "You must know something, anything we can try." She looked at him, then away. "I didn't want to tell you," she said, barely audible. "But there is one way to stop it." Jack knelt down beside her again. "Tell me." Her lips trembled. "It's ancient, old tech. Bio-link transfer. It needs organic energy." He blinked. "English, please." She looked into his eyes. Her voice shook. "It needs your body, your heat, your touch." "It needs you, Jack." He froze. "Wait, are you saying I have to?" She closed her eyes. "It's not about pleasure. It's about life. But yes, we have to be close, very close. Skin to skin, you, inside me. Your heartbeat will interrupt the nanites. It's the only way." Jack's mouth went dry. Not because of the idea itself, but the way she said it. Not teasing. Not seductive. That's She was shivering now, her skin turning dark around the edges. Time was running out. He swallowed. "Are you sure?" "I'm not asking for lust," she whispered. "I'm asking to live." Jack nodded slowly. He looked at her not as a warrior, not as an alien, but as a dying woman. And he made a choice. Cut to hours later. The fire burned low. She lay in the bed, breathing slow, steady. The color had returned to her skin. The shaking was gone. She opened her eyes and found him beside her, shirtless, lying on the edge of the mattress, fully awake. She touched her own chest. "It's quiet now," she whispered. Jack nodded. "Your system fought back. You're stable." She sat up slightly, blanket wrapped around her shoulders. "You saved me." Jack gave a weak smile. "Told you I was good company." She didn't laugh. Just looked at him with something new in her eyes. Softness and fear. Not fear of him, but fear of what she was feeling. "You didn't have to do it," she said. "I wanted to," he replied. Silence fell. Until she asked, "Does mean I belong to you now?" Jack looked at her. "No," he said quietly. "It means you belong to yourself. And you're still alive." She turned away, blinking fast. "Where I come from," she said, "a body is only given in surrender. But this was different." Jack stood, pulling on a shirt. "You don't owe me anything." She nodded slowly. Then whispered, "But I want to." They came with torches, not fire but light. Blinding search beams from hover drones that cut through the trees at night like white knives. She stood in Jack's doorway, fully armored, now silent, still, unreadable, but her hands were shaking, not from fear, from knowing what this meant. Had found her, and this time, they weren't just coming for her, they were coming for him too. Jack stood behind her, rifle in hand, shirt half buttoned, jaw tight. "They're scanning the woods," he said. 6 drones so far. 2 transport crafts just passed over the ridge. She said nothing. "You think they'll come in quietly?" he asked. She turned her head slowly. No, her voice had returned to its old tone, calm, clipped. Dangerous. But something was different. She wasn't just a warrior now. She was someone who had something to lose. An hour later, she sat at the small table, staring at the old photo Jack had framed on the wall. Two people, smiling. A younger Jack and a woman with curly hair. Your wife? She asked. Jack looked up from the corner where he was packing supplies. No, sister. She died. In a raid. Human pirates. She nodded. Sorry, he shrugged. She liked helping people. Said there's no point in surviving if we don't save each other. The alien woman looked away. What? Jack asked. She traced a line on the table with her finger. Where I'm from, kindness gets you killed. Here too sometimes, Jack said. But we do it anyway. She met his eyes. You think I deserve to be saved? Jack walked over slowly. Sat across from her. I think whoever you were before. That woman's dying. And what's left? He reached out, gently touched her hand. What's left is beautiful. Her breath caught. You mean my face? No, he said. Your choice. You chose to feel. You chose to protect instead of destroy. She didn't speak. Just stared at his hand touching hers. Then she said softly, no one's ever called me that. What? Beautiful. Jack smiled. Well, get used to it, she laughed. Just once, quietly, but it was real. The laughter didn't last. That night, a voice crackled over the speakers hidden in the trees. This is a final warning. Surrender the fugitive before sunrise or your cabin will be erased. She stood by the window, arms folded. I can't let you die for me, she said. Jack shook his head. We've been through this. She turned sharply. You've known me for days. And I felt you for every second, he snapped. She blinked. Her face softened. You're crazy. I must be, she sighed. Then we fight together? Jack stepped forward. No, we live together. At dawn, she stepped outside in full armor. Her knife strapped to her leg, her hair tied back. Her eyes fierce. But at her side was Jack. Rifle ready. No fear. The dropship hovered in the sky, wind howling. Troopers lined up in formation. The commander stepped forward. This is your last chance. Jack raised his voice. This is my land. She's under protection. She's a war criminal. She's changing. And you're afraid of that. Silence, then a gunshot, but not from the troopers, from the woods. Behind them, one soldier fell neck hit. Clean shot. The forest lit up with movement. A third party. Another faction, not her people. Not humans. Something else. She turned to Jack. They've come to clean the mess. No survivors. Jack gritted his teeth. Then let's make this very messy. They ran through fire, not flames but lasers, plasma bolts, and smoking trees. The forest was dying around them. The earth shook. Machines screamed overhead, and she held his hand like it was the only thing keeping her alive. Jack's breath was heavy. Smoke in his lungs. Blood on his arm, not hers. She was hit. Still running, still pulling him forward. She was made to fight. She had fought 1,000 battles, but this one wasn't for a planet. It was for one man. They found cover behind the ridge near the old communication tower. She dropped to her knees, panting, gripping her side. Jack crouched beside her. Let me see. She pushed his hands away. No time. You're bleeding. I've bled worse. Jack scanned the sky. Drones still circling. The soldiers were fighting someone else now, whoever that third group was, but it wouldn't last. They'll come back, he said. We can't stay here. She looked up at him. Her face pale, eyes sharp. There's a ship hidden in the hills, my emergency pod. I buried it when I first landed. It has one jump left. Jack blinked. You're saying we can escape? She nodded. If we make it. He looked at her wound. You won't survive the jump with that. Your body's shutting down. I don't care, she said. as long as you make it. Jack froze, then shook his head. No. Jack, I'm not leaving without you. She smiled weakly. Then you'll die a fool. He touched her face. Maybe, but I'd rather die a fool than live without you. Her breath caught, not from pain, from emotion, raw. Real. She leaned forward, rested her forehead against his. You were supposed to be a shelter, she whispered. Not a storm. Jack kissed her soft, fast, then stood. Show me where the pod is. The path was steep, hidden by roots and moss. She guided him, limping, breath slowing. Jack carried most of her weight now. She could barely walk. Finally, under a tree stump, she pointed. There. Jack dug fast, hands raw. A metal hatch appeared. He yanked it open. Inside the ship. Small, sleek, functional. He turned. We'll make it. But she collapsed. He caught her before she hit the ground. Her eyes fluttered. I'm tired. No, he said. Not now. Jack, I'm not letting you go. She smiled faintly. Even when I'm broken? You're not broken. You're still fighting. That's enough. She touched his chest. Then take me inside. And fly. Minutes later, the ship shook to life. Engines warm. Coordinates set. The sky was turning red. Ships above now firing at anything that moved. Jack sat in the pilot chair. She lay strapped beside him, wrapped in heat blankets, 4 running into her. Armed. He reached for the launch button, then stopped, looked at her. Tell me something real, he said. She opened one eye, weak but alive. I used to dream of escaping, she whispered. But I never imagined I'd escape into someone. Jack pressed the button. The ship roared. They shot into the sky, hours later. In the silence of space. She woke up. He was still beside her, watching stars. Are we alive? She asked. He smiled. I think so. She turned her head slowly. Her body still hurt. But the pain was fading. I don't know where we're going, she said. Jack nodded. Neither do I. Do you care? He took her hand. No, she exhaled. Closed her eyes, then said softly, Don't kill me, human. Jack looked at her. Take me to your bed instead. He laughed, gladly.